Good morning, good evening, and good night. My name is Tristan, and welcome to Tristan's Headquarters. Today, on the Headquarters, I shall be doing a Christian view on K-pop Demon Hunters and whether Christians should watch it or not. The reason I am doing this video is I do a movie review on my channel every month, and 2, I've been seeing a lot of debate around K-pop Demon Hunters, especially among Christians. For some Christians, it's an okay film. It has some Christian themes. It has things that would align with Christianity and biblical values. And then there's the other side, who think this movie is demonic just because of a few things, like how it's South Korean mythology, or that even the demons have a song called have songs like Solar Pop or Your Idol, or that only Jesus can fight demons and stuff like that. I mean, the last one's kind of valid, but remember, this is a fictional movie, so that doesn't really hold up because they're fictional, but Jesus is the real deal. However, just because Jesus is not in a movie fighting demons doesn't mean you can't have other people fighting demons. Nobody is asking you to worship any main or fictional characters. They just want you to watch a movie that is fun. So, we're going to be going over this movie, and of course, we're going to be talking about the things in the movie, and I'll give you my spoiler review. Also, actually, you know what? I won't warn you about spoilers because, let's be honest, I think everybody has seen this movie. I think everybody has either seen this movie or at least seen some clips or shorts. Anyway, the plot of this movie is that when K-pop superstars Rumi, Mira, and Zoe aren't selling out stadiums or topping Billboard charts, they're moonlighting as demon hunters to protect their fans from ever-present supernatural danger. So that's a summary of the film. Basically, yeah, the supernatural entities they're fighting are demons. However, they're not biblical demons. They're demons from South Korean folklore and mythology. So they're not, in this case, the so-called demons in this film aren't even demons. They're more like vampires or monsters. But then again, they all of them are depicted as evil in the film. Well, not as quite, but I'll get to that. Basically, the hunter's job is to sing with their voices to cast out the demons and create something called the honeymoon as a barrier to protect the humans from the demons. Now with that being said, with them having to create the honeymoon, the leader of the demons, Guima, which is like this big guy made out of fire, so Guima actually is like furious until some five of his demons, mainly this one named Genu, decide to disguise himself as a boy band to deceive the world, and of course get people's souls. So when the Huntrix discovers this, they try to they try to stop the Sarja boys. Oh, by the way, that's the name of the demon boy band, the Sarja boys. So the Huntrix tried to create a song about to combat the Sarja boys. And oh, by the way, speaking of these songs are amazing in this film. They are like for there's many all of the songs I have to say are pretty good. There's How It's Done, Golden, Takedown, Free, What Sounds Like, the only there's also Your Idol, but yeah, the songs are pretty good, but for both the heroes and the villains, but yeah. Anyway, here's the most controversial part of the film. Rumi, the main star, the girl with the purple hair, you see the girl? Okay, so she is apparently a half demon. Her dad was a demon and her mom was a hunter. I have no idea what happened. I have my own speculations, but I'll probably say that for another video. Yeah, so Harumi is half demon, and of course, she has to keep this a secret from her friends, Zoe and Mira, because, demons equals bad. And of course, when the leader of the Sarja boys, Gino, finds this out, he tries to negotiate with Ruby. And then Ruby tries to negotiate with him so they can figure out a way to defeat Guiba and lock away all the demons with the Hot Moon. There's also Gino's past where he used to be a human, like the olden times in Korea or Asian countries, and he made a deal with Guiba. But after making a deal with Guiba, he lost his family, and he ended up traveling to the underworld and becoming a demon himself. So yeah, so that's basically self-created mythology. It's not biblical theology, because we know in biblical theology demons are fallen angels. However, for self-created mythology, it's like different. It's a different thing. Anyway, yeah. So, but then Gino is convinced by Guiba to betray Ruby, so he does that, and then Mira and Zoe end up finding out Ruby is a half demon. Of course, they're pretty upset. And then Ruby, after confrontation from her guardian, Celine, Ruby decides to go back and save the people from the Sarja boys. And along with Mira and Zoe, they put their voices together to sing "This Is What It Sounds Like" to defeat the Sarja boys and counter their evil power. And just what? Gino ends up sacrificing himself to save Ruby, and Ruby defeats Guiba, and the Hunmoon is restored, and the world is saved. Yeah, so that's basically the entire film. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a fun film. My sister likes it. She's a really big fan of it. And I am too. I'm not a big fan, but I like the film. But I know some brothers and sisters in Christ seem to condemn the film, calling it demonic, because of parts like self-created mythology, or like how Ruby is a half demon, or like how the Huntrix's superpowers are based off shamanism, even though the movie is basically just a fantasy. But as to that, I say, I think the people who are calling this movie demonic uh have good intentions. However, they're a bit too harsh in this film. Yes, I do not really agree with Ruby being a half demon. And but and I know like people want to be wary of things with so and so magic. However, you have to remember these are not biblical demons. These are like South Korean mythological demonic creatures. And as for the superpowers, let's be honest. I don't think people can sing in real life uh, and do what Huntrix does. Besides, Huntrix, from the looks of Huntrix, their superpowers are basically divine. It's no different from Aslan's power in Chronicles of Narnia, or like any prophet's power, because that's basically like the cosmology of the universe. Like, it's not even magic if you really think about it. But yeah. It is. But then again, I know some people have their convictions, and I respect that, and I do hope they also respect that. If people who actually like this Christians who like this film, I hope they respect us too. Um, so now we're gonna go over the good themes in this film with Bible verses. But before that, I want to show you something. So I don't have any K-pop Demon Hunters merch because like I have no money for that, and also I don't think they ever made official merch. But just for fun, I'll put this here. This is this is uh, Sugar from BTS. It belongs to my sister. Say hi, Sugar. Anyways, you just stay here, right here, for the rest of the video. Yeah. So now, oh, by the way, another thing. One of the creators of the film, EJ, is I heard that she's actually Christian, and she actually incorporated she actually her faith was actually an inspiration for the song Your Idol, of it being a villain song, because she knows that idolatry and idols are bad. So I think that's pretty cool. Yeah, you create a good villain for your kids film. That's good. God bless you, EJ. Um and no. And also it's not really at the end it really is just a secular film, but then again you gotta think, like, considering that there was a Christian that worked on this, who knows, maybe she did subtly add some Christian themes, who knows. Anyways, let's get to the Bible verses. Okay. Now, let's focus on spiritual. Let's focus on spiritual warfare and fighting evil. The core conflict of demon hunters aligns closely with the biblical concept of the spiritual battle against unseen forces. Then there's Espion 612 NIV, which says, "For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, against the spiritual forces of evil and the heavenly realms. Alignment. This verse directly frames the battle as a spiritual one, not just a physical one, mirroring the demon hunters' fight against the supernatural entities, the demons, the Sacha boys. Anyway, James 4:1 NIV. Submit yourselves then to God, resist the devil, and he will flee from you. Alignment encourages active resistance against the force of evil, a primary action of the demon hunters. That is 1 Peter 5:8-9. Be alert of a sober mind. Your enemy, the devil, prowls like a roaring lion. Not to be confused with the Lion of Judah. But like a roaring lion, looking for someone to devour. Resist him, standing firm in faith. Alignment emphasizes the vigilance and standing firm with the eternal strength, faith, conviction against the predatory enemy. Oh, fun fact: in the movie, the Sacha Boys logo is a lion, but then in the end, when their demon forms, it made like a devil face, turned into a devil face. But I don't know, I guess that was just a coincidence. Anyways, then there's light over darkness and power. The idea of the hunters using their power, often tied to music or collective energy, to bring light to protects others, connects to verses about divine light and authority. See, I told you it was divine power they had. John 1:5. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. Alignment. A central message of hope and triumph of good. Light over evil and darkness, reflecting the ultimate goal of the demon hunters. Colossians 1:13. For he has rescued us from the dominion of darkness and brought us into the kingdom of the Son he loves. Alignment speaks to being delivered or rescued from the power of evil darkness, which is the service of the demon hunters provide. So while this movie does not mention Jesus, it does have the same goal as Jesus and as the winning side. And it is fighting darkness for the greater good is something I believe Jesus would approve of. Then there's courage, strength, and inner battle. The journey of characters, especially Ruby, in confronting their inner demons, like shame, fear, aligns with verses about finding courage and strength in one true self. 2 Timothy 1:7. For God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and love of a sound mind. Directly addresses overcoming fear in a spiritual strength, mirroring the personal transformation needed to fight effectively. I guess this can relate to Ruby being half demon and her dealing with that, and in the end she recognizing that her being half demon does not define what she stands for, which is good. How and while I don't obviously agree with Ruby being a half demon, I do believe this can relate to how we feel. I mean, we kind of feel dirty for sinning all the time or having sinful backgrounds or past, but in the end, Jesus forgives us and wants us to do better. Now for Deuteronomy 31:6. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or terrified because of them. For the Lord your God goes with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. Alignment. A classic call to bravery, essentially for any hero facing overwhelming evil. Just like Huntrix took down the Sacha boys. And now for the final quote. Well, the final speech, sorry. The movie represents a compelling narrative about accepting one's flaws and inner darkness as a source of strength, which contrasts with the traditional interpretations of sin and shame. Well, yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah, that is one flaw in the film. However, the themes of courage, protection, and of the vulnerable and actively fighting evil are strongly present in both the story and these biblical passages. And that's it. So, now the question remains: should Christians watch K-pop Demon Hunters? I believe they can. And I also believe they should, because you can use this movie to point towards the gospel of Jesus Christ. And I know there's gonna be like, no, it's demonic, stay away from it. That's you. That's your conviction. I respect it. I respect your conviction if you don't want to watch this movie or like this movie. However, people have different convictions. And it's not a sin to watch this movie. In fact, I just basically showed how there are Christian themes. Also, I see this other argument that this movie is inherently Christian because of Christian themes. I just wanna, even though I like this movie, I just wanna say this is not a Christian movie. However, it is a secular movie that has Christian themes, and even though it does use South Korean mythology, like I said, it does have stuff that do align with the Bible. It does have flaws, like I said, however, because no film is perfect. However, this is a good film with a great lesson, and I am glad that some Christians and even children get a good lesson from this, because here's my main takeaway. For all have sinned, and for all have fallen short of the glory of God. However, He forgives us, and He loves us, and He wants us to persevere and come out better. And while realistically a half demon won't really receive salvation from Christ, as good of a person Rumi is, but however in real life that happens with humans, how God created us, and even though we might feel we have some darkness attached to us and we can never be forgiven, God can accept you, and He will help you, and He will help, and with the Holy Spirit, you can overcome darkness. Well, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next video. What do you think of the movie? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Let me know in the comments down below. What's your Christian view on it? I personally like it. I know some others like it. I know some don't, but then again, that's them. But yes, I'll see you in the next video. God bless and have a golden day.